2021 started pretty much like 2020 ended. Things returning to quote-unquote normal ended up being an unrealized dream, and as the senior pastor of Hillside, frankly, this year was full of challenges. Society continued to be disrupted, and fear, doubt, and division seemed to be at an all-time high. However, Hillside's mission has not changed, even in these difficult days, to see God's hope transform our cities one story at a time. That's the call God has on us, and God showed up in special and unique ways. We saw God do some pretty wonderful things this past year. The year started with a literal rebuild. The Hillside Anywhere project aimed to reach out to those locally and across the world with a message of God's good news. This project upgraded streaming quality for the hundreds of people that tune in online every weekend. We also saw the generosity from the Kerr family, who donated the Hearing Loop, a system installed under the worship center carpet that enhances gatherings for our hard of hearing population. Women's ministry came back roaring in 2021, hosting worship nights, Bible studies, and embracing hybrid meetings so everyone could participate in our local communities and even some across the nation. Jimmy Higgins was welcomed as our student pastor to lead the team of staff and volunteers, rebuilding our student gatherings and student community groups. Kelly Roth was also introduced as our newest pastor, and she continues to help guide and shape one of our key mission strategies here, growing in community. On Easter, we saw over 3,000 people on campus for the first time since COVID began, and over 50 were baptized, including some people who, up until this point, had only watched online and were stepping onto our campus for the very first time. Following Easter, Hillside midweek happened on Wednesday nights, and we heard fresh voices engaged in faith-shaping conversations during our midweek series, welcoming Todd Bolsinger, Steve Carter, and Ricky Jenkins to join us. Throughout the year, we were encouraged by stories of God's work of transformation in the lives of people of Hillside. Angie's story of reconciliation with her family, Dave's story of trusting God and turning his dark thoughts into hope for others, fathers and sons getting baptized together, the Hargraves adjusting to keep their clients with paralysis healthy, Mrs. Meeker, her group text invitations. We mourned those lost. We also celebrated our doctors, our nurses, and first responders. On Mother's Day and Father's Day, we showed our parents and grandparents how valuable their investment to us and to this church was. Then the summer came, and Summer Blast returned with intensity, welcoming new families to our campus, and we finished Summer Blast week with an all-church cookout. We followed up that a few weeks later with our Family Field Day, where for the first time in a long time, families reconnected. In the fall, we commissioned and prayed for students and teachers after a long time away from school campuses, and we held a backpack drive with Project Boone, collecting over 1,000 school supplies for underserved students in our surrounding communities. Through Zoom calls, we were able to connect with our global partners, hearing their struggles and needs within their unique global circumstances. And because of your generosity, we were able to give over $300,000 to our global partners, Harvest India, ELI, Living Room, and our newest partners in Mexico, Kingdom Builders. Our marriage series in the fall created buzz and engagement with weekly testimonials, and we launched our first podcast called Sidebar, which aimed to answer questions from our community on the real issues they were struggling with. Our kids ministry hosted a number of events throughout the year, including our Fall Fun Sunday, which not only drew record numbers upstairs, it might have been the cutest Sunday we've ever seen. Great food collections continued throughout the year, closing with our Thanksgiving food drive that filled our freezers with turkeys for our local partners, Hope Pantry and Hope Through Housing, and we hosted Operation Community Cares, who sent care packages to our military members for the holidays. As the year came to a close, we hosted a night of worship geared towards our families with food and worship. Kids got to see some of their favorite characters. And finally, for the first time in 2 years, we hosted in-person Christmas Eve gatherings. There was the drummer boy, candlelight, and hope offered for thousands of members of our community. Financially, also, we finished the year in a really good place. There were a few tough months, but as we talked about, ending the year for God and for good, the people of Hillside came in strong. In December alone, we saw over $975,000 come in. Yay, God. Throughout the year, in-kind gifts, things like steel and electrical services, AV equipment, hearing loop, doors from the people of Hillside were also uniquely donated at over $608,000 worth of value. 318 of you gave for the very first time in 2021, and because of your generosity, we were able to finish the year ahead, positive in our finances. Once again, thank you, God, and thank you to the people of Hillside. So yes, 2021 was challenging, but it was also a year filled with hope and optimism. We saw our church experience God's love, grow in community, and serve with compassion, and we are so excited to see what 2022 brings.